Hey there. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're strapping on our metaphorical scuba gear and plunging into the depths of a hip-hop track. It's less a song and more like a lyrical dissertation. We're tackling Canibus's master thesis.
Oh yeah, master thesis.
This one's notorious for its complex wordplay and dense layers of meaning. So get ready for a workout, brain style.
It's definitely a fascinating choice for a deep dive. Unlike most songs that focus on a specific narrative or theme, Master Thesis seems designed to showcase Canibus's intellectual and lyrical prowess. It's almost like he's presenting his credentials as an artist.
You're right, it's almost intimidating. Right from the first line, this is the master thesis underneath the deepness. He sets this incredibly ambitious tone, like what eye is the deepness? What's he pointing us toward?
I think the deepness could be interpreted as like the vast well of knowledge and experience that Canibus draws from in his lyrics. He's not just rapping about street life or personal struggles. He's weaving together history, science, philosophy, mythology. It's almost overwhelming.
Absolutely, and he does it right off the bat. Take the lines, color is vibration, vibration is sound, sound resonates through the mouth, check it out. He jumps from physics to the act of speaking in just a few words. What do you make of that connection?
It's a great example of how Canibus uses wordplay to highlight these unexpected connections between seemingly different concepts. He's suggesting that sound, and by extension language, aren't just tools for communication, but fundamental forces. Forces that shape our reality.
Okay, so he's not just flexing his vocabulary. He's actually building an argument. I'm starting to see why people call him a genius.
Right, and he continues to build on these ideas throughout the song. Remember the line. The best of biz, orbitally rearranged, monoatomic elements with depth intelligence. It seems like a jumble of scientific terms at first, but it actually speaks to his artistic evolution.
I've always loved that line. It's so dense. Break that down for me. What's he doing there?
Wow. Orbitally rearranged could refer to the way he's constantly evolving, pushing his lyrical skills to new levels. And monoatomic elements are elements that exist in a single atom, which could be a metaphor for his individuality, his unique voice in the world of hip-hop.
It's like he's saying he's breaking himself down to the atomic level and rebuilding himself as something even more powerful.
Exactly. And this concept of transformation, of pushing boundaries, it's central to the whole song. He's not just rapping, he's reshaping the very elements of language and knowledge.
And then he goes from the atomic level to ancient history, dropping references like they're nothing. He says, I read 1/4 of the Library of Alexandria before it was burnt to the floor about the shapes of the sacred geometry they used to draw. Talk about a history buff.
That line always sends shivers down my spine. The Library of Alexandria represents this lost treasure trove of knowledge, and he's suggesting that he's absorbed a fraction of it, carrying those ancient secrets within his rhymes.
It makes you wonder what knowledge was lost when the library burned, and what is he hinting at with the sacred geometry?
It's a fascinating question, and the way he juxtaposes this ancient knowledge with modern hip-hop creates this sense of timelessness, like he's tapping into a lineage of wisdom that transcends eras.
It's like he's saying that knowledge, like sound, is a force that connects us across time.
Right. And it's not just history. He mentions Atlantis, Egyptian gold, Assyrian molds, beryllium. It's as if he's piecing together a puzzle of ancient knowledge, looking for answers to some of humanity's greatest mysteries.
And then out of nowhere, he brings in Buckminster Fuller, the architect and futurist. He says, they cook it on symmetrical stoves with my logo etched above, Buckminster Fuller type dome.
How did Buckminster Fuller end up in a hip-hop song? It's such a wild juxtaposition.
It's as unexpected, but remember we were just talking about how he connects seemingly disparate concepts. Buckminster Fuller was obsessed with geodesic domes, structures known for their strength and efficiency. Perhaps Canibus is suggesting that his lyrics have a similar structural integrity, that they are built on solid principles and can withstand scrutiny. So he's comparing his lyrical style to architectural design. That's a whole other level of meta.
And he doesn't just draw from history and science. He pulls in mythology, too. He mentions Atlantis, Egyptian gold, Assyrian molds. It's as if he's piecing together this puzzle of ancient knowledge, looking for answers to some of humanity's greatest mysteries.
It's like he's saying, hey, if you want to truly understand my master thesis, you got to be well-versed in all these different fields of knowledge.
Exactly. And it's this intellectual ambition that sets Canibus apart from so many other rappers. He's not just spitting rhymes. He's challenging listeners to expand their own horizons.
Okay, let's talk about something that really jumps out at me. His use of complex vocabulary. I mean, he throws in words like pharyngoamygdalitis and Scaphocephalus, like their everyday slang.
That's one of the things people either love or hate about Canibus. Some see it as pretentious, but I think it's part of his commitment to pushing the boundaries of language. He's not afraid to use obscure words to create specific effects or convey nuanced meanings.
Yeah, I get that. But sometimes I feel like I need a dictionary just to follow along. Like, does every word have some deeper meaning?
Not necessarily, but even when he's using technical terms, he often does so in a way that creates a sense of mystery or wonder. For example, when he says, I was told pharyngomygdalitis did not exist. You have a modest case of scaphocephalus. He's juxtaposing a real medical term with a condition that affects the shape of the skull.
So what's he getting at there?
It's hard to say for sure, but maybe he's playing with the idea of perception versus reality. He's questioning the validity of diagnoses, suggesting that what we perceive as truth might be something else entirely.
It's definitely a head-scratcher. But even when I don't fully understand the meaning, I have to admit it sounds cool.
That's part of the appeal. He's creating a sonic landscape that's both intellectually stimulating and orally pleasing. It's like a puzzle you can't help but try to solve.
And it's not just the vocabulary. He also weaves in musical concepts. There's that line where he talks about communicating through diatonic and pentatonic scale. What's going on there?
He's highlighting the connection between music and language, showing how both can be used to express complex ideas and emotions. The diatonic and pentatonic scales are foundational elements of Western music, and he's suggesting that his lyrics are built on a similar foundation, a foundation of structure and harmony.
So he's not just rapping, he's composing with words.
Exactly. He's a master of both language and music, and he blends them seamlessly in Master Thesis.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
But for all its intellectual density, Master Thesis isn't all serious and academic. He throws in these moments of humor that catch you off guard, like when he talks about meeting James Lipton, the host of Inside the Actor's Studio, and being told his work is too esoteric. What's that all about?
That's Canibus playing with our expectations. He takes us from ancient Alexandria to a conversation with James Lipton, this icon of highbrow culture, and then has Lipton dismiss his work as being too obscure. It's a brilliant bit of self-awareness, and it shows that he doesn't take himself too seriously, even within this incredibly dense intellectual landscape.
And then there's that line about Sidonian snow, which always makes me chuckle. Is that a real place?
Cydonia is a region on Mars, and there's been speculation about the possibility of snow or ice there. It's a nod to science fiction, but also to this idea of exploration, of venturing into the unknown.
It's like he's inviting us to join him on this journey through the vast expanse of knowledge. From the ancient world to the outer reaches of space, and then just when you think you've got a handle on things, he throws in this random line about offering the listener scotch on the rocks.
That's Canibus at his most playful. You know he knows he's throwing a lot at the listener, so he throws in these little moments of levity to keep us engaged.
It's those unexpected touches of humor that make the song so much fun to listen to. You never know what's coming next.
And that's what keeps listeners coming back for more. Master Thesis is like a puzzle box that you can keep opening and discovering new layers of meaning.
It's amazing how Canibus can pack so much into a single song. It feels like we've been talking for hours, and we've only just scratched the surface.
That's the beauty of Master Thesis. You know it's a song that rewards repeated listens. Every time you go back to it, you're bound to discover something new, some subtle wordplay or hidden connection you hadn't noticed before.
It's almost like he's daring us to keep up with him.
I think you're right. It's a challenge to our intellect, but also an invitation to join him on this journey of exploration and discovery.
So after spending all this time with Master Thesis, what do you think Canibus's ultimate goal is with this song?
I think at its core, Master Thesis is a statement of purpose. Canibus is declaring his ambition to elevate hip-hop lyricism, to prove that rap can be just as complex and intellectually stimulating as any other art form. He's not content with simply entertaining. He wants to challenge listeners, to make them think, to expand their understanding of language and the world around them.
And he's not afraid to be polarizing.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, this song isn't for everyone. It demands a certain level of attention. And intellectual curiosity.
Absolutely. It's not background music. It's an active listening experience. But for those willing to put in the effort, Master Thesis offers a truly rewarding experience. It's a song that can change the way you think about language, music, and the power of artistic expression.
Yeah, I think that's a great point to end on. Master Thesis is a challenging but ultimately rewarding journey for any listener willing to take the plunge.
And if you're up for the challenge, we highly recommend checking out the song in its entirety. You can find it on C Radio, Spotify, and the Rippers Unite YouTube channel.
And as you listen, ask yourself, what does Master Thesis reveal about the power of language? How does Canibus use wordplay and lyrical density to create meaning? And what does it tell you about your own intellectual curiosity and the limits of interpretation?
Those are great questions to ponder. And remember, there are no right or wrong answers when it comes to interpreting art. It's all about engaging with the work and drawing your own conclusions.
That's all for today's deep dive. We hope you enjoyed exploring the intricate world of Canibus's Master Thesis. Until next time, keep your mind sharp and your ears open.